There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am again at my parents' farm in Saskatchewan, unearthing, slowly making my way through 8 or so boxes of books. Now, I've opened them, so I know what's here, so you're not going to see my first reaction, my surprise and delight at finding these books that I stored at my parents' farm a decade ago, and then we all kind of lost track of where on this sprawling 20-acre farm they were located, but we found them yesterday, and I'm going to show you what's in box letter D on this video. Let's get started. Here's one I'm definitely going to put in my suitcase and take back to Tokyo. One of my favorite gay novels, Breakfast with Scott, note that there's only one T, by Michael Downing. It's not a perfect novel, but it's, of all the gay fiction I've read, this one maybe spoke, one of the ones that spoke the most deeply. And don't watch the movie. Even though this is an American novel, it was made into a Canadian film. Need I say more? Just awful. But the novel is really worth a read, and this is a beautiful hardcover edition. It's going back with me this week to Tokyo. This is probably the gay novel that has meant the most to me of my entire reading life as a gay man. A Home at the End of the World by Michael Cunningham. And this was a quality paperback book. Quality paperback book club. You know, the paperback version of the Book of the Month Club back in the day. And it is signed by Michael Cunningham. This one wasn't as successful, but it did speak to me in the 1990s when I read it. Jeff Ryman's Lust. I can't figure out what the symbolism there is of all those vegetables. But anyway, a book about a gay man struggling with, dealing with lust in his life. And at the time that I read this, I was too. I don't think it's probably that good of a novel, but I just remember that it resonated with where I was at. This would be fun to reread someday. A memoir by a gay Canadian writer, Stan Persky, Buddies, Meditations on Desire. He was a dirty old man. His memoir about picking up young hustlers in Vancouver. I wonder what I'd think of it now. Beautiful writing. Of course, also signed. Wow, this is the gay sex box, obviously. Dancing Around the Volcano. Freeing Our Erotic Lives. Decoding the Enigma of Gay Men and Sex by Gay Kettle Hack. I would probably hate this now. I really loved it when I read it. Enough said. I have signed copies of almost all of Mark Doty's works, poetry and otherwise, up to a certain point anyway, and this is one of his early books of poetry, My Alexandria. This also was an important book in my coming to understand myself as a gay man back in the 1990s. The Culture of Desire, Paradox and Perversity in Gay Lives Today by Frank Browning. Really resonated. This one is signed, I think. I read it in 1993. No, I thought I had a signed copy. Okay. Alice Munro, Who Do You Think You Are? I have never read this one. A gay novel from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Although no, I think it's actually a memoir. The Edmonton Queen, Inside a Dynasty of Drag. And I knew most of the drag queens that are written about here. So no, this is a memoir. Never read it. I have read these short stories, The Zombie Pit by Sam D'Alessandro, and they were great, or at least I thought so back in the 1990s. He died of AIDS at the age of 31. Oh, I'm feeling nostalgic. Good Lord, Mary Poppins. I loved it as a kid, but this is Michael Cunningham's second novel that he claims he's disowned his first one, which is in a box coming up, but this is his second one. It was pretty good. I really don't know why I saved this, other than that it was a gift from my mother. I never read it. I don't want to read it. Here it is. Mordecai Richler, one of the big white male Canadian writers. He was a curmudgeonly old poop. This apparently is a pretty good novel. He signed it. I will probably never read it. This is a wonderful lesbian novel from Canada, Jane Rule's Memory Board, about an elderly lesbian couple, and one of them gets Alzheimer's. It's beautiful. This is a signed Alice Munro Runaway that I have never read. And a signed Joan Didion, The Year of Magical Thinking. Look at that, eh? I have so many books about Nelson Mandela and the anti-apartheid movement that some of them I didn't remember that I owned. This is one of them. As Used on the Famous Nelson Mandela by Mark Thomas. Underground Adventures in the Arms and Torture Trade. God, it may not have anything to do with Nelson Mandela, but I have it. At a certain stage of my life, I was very interested in the psychodynamics of shame, and this was a book that I thought was brilliant on the subject. Shame, The Power of Caring by the gay Jewish psychotherapist Gershon Kaufman. A work of Canadian history, Working People, An Illustrated History of the Canadian Labour Movement by Desmond Morton. I have a personal connection to this book, and I don't really feel like talking about it, so I won't. But anyway, yeah, I didn't remember that I had this book. Another gay memoir from the 1970s, Under the Rainbow, Growing Up Gay by Arnie Kantrowitz. I did a graduate English paper on gay male life writing, and this was one of the memoirs that I analyzed. Black South African writer Zakes Mada, The Heart of Redness. I have not read it. I hear it's not very good, but I kept it because I thought I might want to read it someday. Now, probably I won't. Signed copy of Arkansas, 3 novellas by David Levitt. I don't think I ever read it. I think by the time this was published, his writing talent had dried up completely. Bonnie Bernard was a Canadian writer. She just died last year, the year before. This is an early collection of her short stories when she lived in Regina, Saskatchewan. I think she's originally from Ontario. This won the Commonwealth Writers' Prize. And this is her debut. One of my old boyfriends and I used to read to each other almost every day that we were together. We weren't together very long. 6 months, 8 months, a year, I can't remember now. But no, we were together about a year. It doesn't matter. But we used to read to each other because he enjoyed reading as much as I did. And he read me a story from this. We just kind of pull books off my shelf and just open them and read like a short story or a beginning of a chapter, and it was really fantastic. And he read me a story from this book that was about, or did I read it to him? I don't remember, but one of us read to the other that was about a son coming out to their parents, and it's one of the most powerful works of fiction about that I've ever read, and I kept this book for that reason. Good Lord. The Gay and Lesbian Literary Heritage, edited by Claude J. Summers. Look at that. I think I'm in this. Yes, of course I am. I'm so famous. No, there was a pair of Irish lesbian writers. Yes. Edith Somerville and Violet Martin. Edith Somerville and Violet Martin. And I wrote a paper about it that was published in an academic journal. So I am cited in the bibliography. So, do you want my autograph now or later? It's alright.
Katie, get over.
Got nothing but time.
Katie, get over. Katie! Katie, come. Come here. Come here. Katie. Get over here. Shh. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Autographed copies of Angels in America by Tony Krishner. How cool is that? Boys Like Us, an anthology. Gay writers tell their coming out stories. Edited by Patrick Murla. I think some of these might be signed, but I don't remember. Barack Obama's The Audacity of Hope. And this incredible biography of Keith Haring by John Gruen. I used to be obsessed with Keith Haring, and I have a large collection of his prints and various memorabilia or whatever, and books. And the opening memory of Keith Haring in this biography will rip your fucking heart out. That's it for Box D. Thanks for watching.